before we get on the topic,
Yes.
I wanted to I wanted to ask you something because a few weeks ago, a few weeks ago we were obviously playing online, whatever, and then you told the guy that you that you bred polar bears, right?
Albino. I'm a professional albino polar bear breeder, bro. Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Yes,
So
yeah.
I've I obviously don't want to disclose what I do for a living and stuff, but like I
Yeah,
asked
same.
the people around my workplace, is I was like, so polar bears are white, right? And they're like, yeah, of course. So I said, okay, what color is an albino polar bear?
Well, that's why I said it, deep, because it throws people off. But
No, but it's such a good question though, because like the like deer in headlights blank faces that I got, and I was like, right? And they were like, no, but it's still white. And I was like, no, that's a polar bear. So an albino polar bear, the way I'm
it's black.
thinking, it
It's
would be
black.
black. It's got to
Of
be
course,
black.
dude. Of course.
And then they were like, no, but then that's just a bear. I was like, no, it's not a
No.
polar bear because it's white. It's a polar bear because it lives in the cold temperatures and stuff. It's not because it's a white bear. So
Yeah,
a black polar bear is still a polar bear. It's not a grizzly or whatever. Um,
correct.
but it just makes sense to me that an albino polar bear is black. So,
100%. 100%.
um, yeah. I mean, no one agreed with me, so I'm glad that you and I obviously
No, I agree with you, dude. I
agree
agree
on
with you.
that.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you
it's
100% on
literally
that.
the first thing I thought of when you told that person that that's what you do for a living. I was like, bro, that polar bear is black. Has to be. That's the only way it makes sense to me. So, if
Right,
anyone
works.
has more wrong opinions about that, please feel free to not let me know
No, of
because
course.
you're
Yeah,
incorrect.
listen, I do agree with you. I definitely don't want people to know what I do for a living. Yeah, that even
No,
like even like private life stuff, dude. Like, yeah,
yeah, no,
that's
100%.
that, none of that will be discussed on the pod, dude.
No, for
Um,
sure. That's
yeah, because
as
it's
far
a
as
fucking
people
weird.
know, yeah. I live in a basement and I just talk all day and I just decided to record it because might as well, right?
Yeah, well, I breed polar bears in Dagestan, bro,
Oh,
for Khabib's team. So yeah,
yeah, there you go. 2, 3 years, forget.
2, 3 years forget exactly, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But yeah, you brought up a really cool question yesterday. Speaking of the
Okay.
pod and stuff now.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, the topic that you brought up really excited me. So, just how did you word it exactly?
Was this the one with the actors that we would love to see work together on film?
Oh, dude, it's such a freaking good question because it's like I feel like you could go hours talking about that.
Yeah, look, I think I mean, it came from watching an interview, and I'm like, ooh, that's a cool, because they were asking the actor. It was an interview with Tom Hardy, and
Right.
obviously this is something we're gonna discuss about in a bit. Havoc, which was freaking amazing.
Oh,
Um, and one of the questions that they asked him was, which actors would he love to work with that he hasn't worked with yet? And he said Josh Brolin. And when he said that, I'm like, oh my word,
oh,
I would pay good money to watch those two work together on screen. I think they'd do an amazing job.
can you imagine?
Um, and then yeah, that's when I thought of it. Actors that have worked together, that haven't worked together, that we'd love to see work together, which would be amazing.
Dude.
Um, I think another one would be another cool one to see would be maybe like yo, maybe this is like a far stretch, but like Leonardo DiCaprio and Denzel Washington, like as a
Oh,
like as a I don't know. It'd be like a thriller or something. I think it'd be very sick to see those two work together.
That's a shout.
Yeah. Another one would be, even, correct me if I'm wrong, even like Johnny Depp and like maybe like Brad Pitt, like in a fun movie.
Ooh,
I don't know.
I don't think they've worked together. No, that would be
No.
interesting.
Yeah, especially if it's like a comedy sort of thing. I think that'd be quite, because Brad Pitt's got that comedic side to him that we don't see a lot of.
Yeah, people underrate
Um,
him. He's actually really freaking funny.
no, he is funny. He is funny. Yeah, who would yours be, D?
Yo, I'd probably say something like, sure, dude, like Andrew Garfield and Robert Pattinson.
Oh, that's a shot, mate. That's a shot.
Um,
I like those two. Yeah, that's
I
a
don't know
good one.
other stuff. So,
Sure.
yeah, brother, like flip that's a partnership that would really excite me because obviously they're both from the same generation of actors. They're both bloody talented. Um, yeah, I'd love to see them on screen together and just get that like. And they could do anything. We're talking about two actors that are so versatile. They could literally play like a chair and a table.
Especially Robert Pattinson, but I
Oh,
was not a fan. I was not a fan of his for many years, but that guy proved me wrong.
yeah,
I will not lie.
yeah.
Yeah, I still remember when he was cast as Batman. I wanted to burn my comics.
Yeah. Listen, they, I was obviously like, I don't want to be that person, so I'll fully admit, like, when Heath Ledger was
Yeah,
cast as the Joker, I was like, this is so flipping stupid. Like, what are they doing? Obviously,
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the best performances of all time. But
Oh,
when,
dude, if not the best performance for a comic book villain.
yeah,
Yeah, yes,
and then Pattinson was cast as Batman, and bro, I was so happy, like, I lost it, and everyone thought I was trolling. Like, they were like, "No way, you're absolutely taking the piss," and I was like, "You are ignorant because you're just judging the Twilight, homie. You haven't seen Good Time. You havenven't seen
Well,
Lost
that
City.
was me,
Oh,
bud. That was me. That
no, for
I
sure. Like,
fully admit that
respect me
was
for
me.
being the minority for once, but
Yeah.
you know, if I had just seen Twilight, I'd be like, they're actually for real. But
Look,
like the
I'll be honest.
Rover,
Like,
oh
yeah, sorry.
no, I'm just saying, like he did like those movies I mentioned, the Rover. I don't have High Life. Yeah, High Life also came out before the Batman. Really good film. Um, Yeah, dude, Pattinson's got bangers. Like Cosmopolis, I saw Bruce Wayne when I watched that movie. Not just because he plays a rich guy, but he was like
Yes.
very brooding, pissed off. I was like, damn, he's gonna make a decent Bruce Wayne. So
No, he was. Look, I was still excited for the movie because it was Matt Reeves, and I love Matt Reeves. Um, yeah, he definitely knocked it out of the park. I did not expect it to be that good, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. Absolutely love that movie.
no,
It's
for sure,
it's one of my favorite Batman movies made to this day.
100%.
Um, yeah,
I feel like I've taken us off topic though. My bad.
it's okay.
but,
It's okay.
but yeah,
It's okay.
Pattinson and Garfield for sure. And then,
Yeah.
dude, a partnership that I didn't know I needed but loved. Like I know the film was quite divided and not everyone liked it. Like completely fair enough. But Tilda Swinton and Fassbender together in The Killer, and the fact that David
Ooh.
Fincher was directing,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved their scenes together. Loved their scenes together.
Yeah. Look,
Um,
I was one of the few that didn't enjoy that movie. I'll be honest. Love David Fincher. Just want to disclose that he's in my top directors. I think that movie was just. I felt it was very underwhelming, but I get you.
no, for sure.
Another.
David Fincher just
Another.
had fun making an action movie as opposed to like we're so used to him pushing the envelope and
True.
you know, like
True.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and all of that. And the killer was just
What a
him
movie.
chilling. It's just like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna make a movie. Like he could make the killer in his sleep. He didn't try hard making that movie.
No, but that's what it felt like. That was my biggest
Yeah.
critique of it.
No, 100%, and I agree with you. It was like, come on,
Yeah.
you're too good for this.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another partnership I would love to see is Jennifer Lawrence and Ryan Gosling in a comedy, like in a comedy setting. That would be sick because those two are hilarious. They are so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what should we do, like 4 or 5 each.
Well, I can only think that's the three that come to mind at the moment.
That's the
So I
thing.
think,
Also, like, I don't just want to say for the sake of it either, yeah, because it's like
hmm,
it's two people that I just really want to see together on film.
correct.
Dude, I'd love to see like Joaquin Phoenix and Christian Bale. I don't know if it would work though,
Yo, mate, that's a
because they
shot.
are
Man.
both
That's a shot.
very intense. So I feel like they'd either really get along or they'd want to kill each other.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like, jeez, to see Joaquin and Bale together, because even like when Joaquin was winning the awards um, for Joker,
Yes.
he called out Christian Bale and he's like, just, you know, you're good in everything. Just suck once. Just like be bad in one movie. So you see the respect.
Uh, listen, Christian Bale's a flipping. He's a boss, bro. Yes, he's
Yeah,
a boss.
doesn't miss. He's
No.
been in some movies that are not great, but he's still good in them. Like it's not his fault.
Yeah. Perfect example of that was Love and Thunder Thor.
Oh my
Uh,
word!
yeah.
Yes, that's the. I cannot stand that performance is in such a shit film because I
Yeah.
wanna watch the scenes with him, but I can't rewatch that movie. I have to I'd have to fast forward and just watch his
No,
scenes.
no, that movie was very painful to watch.
Yo,
It's one of the worst movies I've ever watched. No
dude,
lies.
they play that when they're freaking interrogating people. That's like the last level. You get waterboarded, you get tasered, you get shot, and then they're like, "Nah, this guy's not talking, bro. You need to put Thor Love and Thunder on." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no.
Yo,
That's big." So they waterboard him a bit more, and they're like, "Nah, he's not talking. You have to put Thor Love and
he's
Thunder."
not
And
talking to.
sings. He
Yeah,
spills all the deets.
you'll
So
sing like a you'll sing like a canary, but it's not even a joke.
facts.
Okay, so one thing I did want to discuss with you about
Yeah.
was Havoc. I know you were super excited about it when it was
In years,
announced.
see it, man. Flip. Literally.
I had only known about it because I saw the trailer, and when the trailer came out, I'm like, oh, this looks great. And then I saw it was Gareth Edwards, and I'm like, sign me up. I'm keen. I'm big fan of the Raid movies.
Oh,
So yeah. What was your thoughts on it, and what would you give it out of 5?
okay. So, properly nerd out here, but yes, Gareth Evans, like, bro, the Raid movies should not exist. That's top tier action film, action directing, all of the like
Yeah.
fight choreography. I feel like that's the bar. Like we were talking about the other day. Um, we wouldn't have the fights in the Winter Soldier without the Raid movies. Like the Russo brothers named and dropped,
Sure.
and it's we're heavily inspired by the Raid for our fights. I mean, even now, like Sebastian Stan's having like that knife fight with Steve, like on that highway, and he's got the
Oh,
knife, like, dropping the knife from one hand to another. Like that's all from the Raid.
yes, it
Uh,
was awesome.
so yeah, to hear that director was gonna make a film with, spoiler alert, my favorite actor. Um, Safe to say, I was very excited. And then filming ended end of 2021. Just to give people context as to how long I've been excited to see this film. It finished filming in 2021. And then he wanted to do reshoots, but then because of like the SAG-AFTRA strikes and all of that, he wasn't allowed to. So it was obviously delayed. And then he got to do the reshoots, etc. And then yeah, we finally have it. And dude, I would wait another 4 years just to watch a film like this again. I absolutely loved it. Like, I
That's
loved
great.
that he used. I mean, just off the bat, like from the beginning, you notice that the aesthetic in the background is CGI.
Yes.
It made it look just really dark and gritty, and I was like, I'm so here for this tone. I loved the
Yep.
tone. You don't even have to like go deep dive into it. I'm not going to talk about like story and character development and all that stuff because that's not the film he made. I feel like it's so important that people need to know what they're in for. Like, the director needs to know his audience, and this is someone that very much knows his audience because he delivers on all cylinders. He fires on all cylinders.
100%. 100% he
But the
does.
audience need to know, like, because I got asked by a colleague, okay, but it's a good story or whatever. I was like, oh, don't worry about the story. That's not the film that you're watching. You're not watching a film for story and plot and
Yeah.
it lives up to
No.
its title. That's all I said. I was like, it's called Havoc. It
Yeah.
lives up to that title. The action is complete batshit fucking chaos.
No, it is chaos. It is absolute chaos. It's
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, dude.
And it's got
Uh,
a and it's got an awesome soundtrack. Yes, that
oh,
soundtrack is amazing.
that's a shout. Thank
It's
you
so
so much
cool.
for bringing that up.
It's so cool.
That soundtrack is
Um,
disgusting. It's so good.
especially like obviously spoiler alert for anyone that's listening. That nightclub scene was insane. Yo,
Oh,
that was insane. Obviously, we're not going to speak about it too much. We'll give people a chance to actually watch the film.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Wednesday now. I watched the film on Saturday, and I'm still listening to those songs. Like,
Oh, yeah. Listen,
oh,
that's
it's so
those
cool,
tracks are awesome. Those tracks are awesome. Um,
so good.
yeah. Look, for me, I loved it. I enjoyed the gunfights. I enjoyed the fight choreography. Its power. I gave it a solid 3.5 out of 5, which I think is it's a good rating for a movie. Usually movies that I rate above anything above a 3 is good. I consider it a good movie. So yeah, what did you rate it, D?
Dude, it's hard because it's like, um, you know, when you say 4 or 5, people hear that and go, "Oh my word, you're saying it's as good as like Inception, right?"
Mm,
But just because you give something 5, I'm not saying it's as good as Inception or The God. Well, people always go to The Godfather, but
yeah,
people always think of that film and Citizen Kane and whatever. But
correct.
for me, like, if I have to review this film for like the intention it was made and what the guy set out to do, bro, for me it's a 5 out of 5. Like, it delivered exactly what I thought it was going to, but then far exceeded expectations. Mate, I was sweating watching those action scenes. Like,
They were hectic. They were
yes,
hectic. It
it
was
got the
brilliant.
blood pumping. I had adrenaline, and I was like, you know what? This is the beauty of cinema. Look what
Yes.
the story does to you.
Yeah.
Like, you get involved, so involved that like you literally have adrenaline pumping through your veins. Like, dude, it's the magic of cinema. You just completely lost in what you're watching. I got so into it. Yeah, for me, dude, it's a 5 out of 5. Absolutely, it's my favorite film of 2025 so far. I still need to go see Sinners.
Yeah, I know that's a big one for you. That was
But
on your that was top of your list, top on your list. I remember if I remember correctly.
yeah, it's the movie I've been most excited for this year.
Mm.
And yeah, from all the reactions and stuff, I mean, it's what, 99 or 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
That's right.
it's crazy, and it's like projected to be the second highest original film this decade. Which, To be fair, people have been throwing out the whole this decade thing a lot. We have to bear in mind 2020, 2021 was COVID, so it's not
Yeah.
saying. And then 2 years ago was the strike as well. Not that the strike affected box office, but like it affected the amount of films that came out. That's why last year was so dead.
Yes.
Because a lot of films were delayed, and unfortunately, a lot of crappy ones came out.
Last
So,
year was not a good year for film. Yes,
dude,
I just
last year
want to
was
say that.
the worst year for film
Yeah.
ever.
Um,
I went to the cinema once. Yeah,
mm,
for someone who goes on average like 10, 12 times, probably even more.
yeah,
Yeah.
I went twice, and that was it. So yeah,
Yeah, what was it? It was Dune and what was the other one?
Sonic Sonic. I went with my
With your
nephews. Yeah,
nephews. Yeah,
yeah,
because
with my nephews.
you're a good uncle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, I'll be honest. But I did go watch Dune Part Two in IMAX, and that was, yeah, that was breathtaking. It was a beautiful movie. I love that movie. Yes, I
That was
love
your
that
film
movie.
of last year, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, that was my number one movie of last year by far. And that movie was fucking robbed of a lot of Oscars.
Yo,
Yeah,
so many.
yeah, it was robbed of a lot of Oscars.
That dude
Um,
was great.
no, it was incredible. It was an incredible film. Um, what was the other thing I wanted to discuss? So going on to MMA.
Love him.
Obviously, both of us have got a big passion for it. We get up most weekends together to watch it in different countries and different time zones, but we make an effort to watch it. I've been a big fan of the sport for many years.
Since I met you,
Um,
you got me into freaking MMA.
yeah, that's right. And watching this weekend's card was quite decent. I thought Ian Gary put an absolutely an amazing um, performance, although it was a little bit touch and go at one stage, particularly in that fifth round. Poetes had a very good chance of finishing him, but he didn't. So yeah, Poetes looked a little bit gun shy to me. It's not
Very good.
the
That's the word
it's
to
not
use.
it's not the usual guy that we see. But then again, Ian Gary's also a big step in competition, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think of it, D?
No, you used, I think that's the perfect expression. Very gun-shy. I was very shocked by that fifth round.
Mm,
I mean, he had him. Like, he had him. It was there for the finish. Um, like you said as well, I don't want to take anything away from Ian Gary. Like, he defended really well. But, mate, your top elite fighter is putting him down there and then. Like, if it was Shafkat or Leon or Kamaru, even Buckley, I feel like Ian Gary's going to sleep or it's getting stopped because those guys are going for the
even
kill.
yeah, even like a Sean Brady, I think Sean Brady would have finished
Oh
him.
my word!
Yeah,
Sean Brady was absolutely relentless against Leon. Yeah, if he had that chance against Ian, he would have put him out 100%. Because if he's not ground and pounding, he's looking for the submission.
I mean that guy's submission game is unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Yeah, so obviously with that was great. I'm happy to see um, Anthony Smith retire. I think it's long
Yeah,
overdue.
long
No
overdue.
disrespect, no disrespect to him. He's had his time. He had a great career. He challenged Jones for a belt. So yeah, it's shame. It's good for the Oak. One thing I do not like, and I've said this from day one. I hate seeing fans troll fighters, especially when they're walking into the cage. I think as normal human beings, not to say that there's anything wrong with these guys, but as normal human beings, we don't understand what goes into that type of training.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys sacrifice a lot of things that normal people wouldn't do. And they do it purely for the love of the sport. And I've always said you've got to respect, there's fighters I do not like, and there's fighters you don't like. But
Yeah, of
we
course.
still got to respect them because they're stepping into that octagon and they're putting on a show. And yeah, I didn't like the after the fight scenes. It was actually quite, it wasn't great. But a nice little tribute that they put together for him, the UFC, which I thought was quite special. And it's good for him to, obviously it's not the way he wanted it to end, but yeah, it is what it is. That's the sport. That sport can be very cruel, as we know. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, brother. Like, my only gripe with it is, like I said to you, that, I don't like that he had this image of his retirement fight. Like, you're disrespecting the sport, in my opinion, because if you get
Yeah.
in that cage, it's to fight the best, whether they're ranked, unranked, whatever. You're in there
Yes.
to fight a dog that's trying to take the bone from you, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like he wanted like a tune-up, easy fight. Not that there are easy fights in the UFC, because there aren't.
There isn't. Yeah.
And that's why I feel like, I just felt a lot of it, like left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, dude, you want honor and whatever, but you're dishonoring the sport. You're disrespecting the sport if you feel like they can even give you a tune-up fight. There aren't tune-up fights in the UFC.
Correct.
The boxer
Correct.
YouTuber, then, if that's what you want. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Jeez,
if you
let's
want
not
to
even go.
retire, you're gonna
Let's.
retire going out against a monster. Like,
Yeah. No.
not
And
to change the subject, but like how you brought up with Dustin.
yeah.
Bro, Dustin has one fight and he's chosen an absolute beat. Like, bro, there's not there's not two more difficult fights than the guy he's chosen.
Oh, listen, 100%. I mean, he specifically said that he wanted a legend, and you don't get a bigger legend than Max Holloway. There's very
No,
few guys that can go above that.
100.
I can't wait for that fight. Look, it's going to be, obviously, first fight, Dustin won. Second fight, also Dustin won. But I'm quite keen to see. I mean, I've said this to you before. Max usually puts on a hell of a performance when he comes back from a loss,
Mm,
and very excited to see what he's going to do.
yeah,
But also, that's one of those fights that I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a big Max Holloway fan, but I also like Dustin.
yeah. It's
And
gonna be a hard fight to watch.
yeah, it will be a hard fight to watch. So yeah, it's let's see what happens with that.
Can I piss you
But
off though?
thinking, say again,
Can I piss you off?
go for it.
You have to pick one who you're supporting.
Oh, I'm gonna choose Max, dude, all the time.
Damn. Okay, so we're on opposite corners then, because
Yeah,
deep down in my
yeah.
heart, I want to win.
No, listen, if dude, like, there's consequences if Max loses. I
Right.
mean,
Okay, I hear
there's
you.
massive consequences if Max loses. Whereas
Mm,
with Dustin, yes, it's his last fight. He's gonna put on a show. I just
right.
hope it's not. I hope it's not like riddled with controversy or something like that. I really hope nothing like that happens. Um, but yeah, look, he's also. I mean, it's his time to retire as well, and not many guys walk away at the right time. I mean,
Mm,
as you know, for context for our listeners, um, I was a big, and I still am. Anderson Silva got me into the sport. I
yeah.
went to a friend's house that I watched Anderson Silva fight Forrest Griffin, and I was amazed at what this guy could do. And that's one of my favorite UFC fighters of all time. And watching him through the years, going on that run, and then losing against Weidman twice, and then ever since he broke his leg, he was never the same.
Yeah.
We only saw very slight hints of him at his like sort of best when he fought Adesanya.
Oh,
That was very special to watch.
it was special. Yeah.
But watching him getting beaten up by all these different oaks, particularly the Jared Cannonier fight for me was hard to watch when he
Oh,
fought him. Dustin's doing the right thing. He's retiring at the right time. He's gonna put a hell of a show for us. That's one thing for sure. He will definitely put a hell of a show for us.
mm.
So yeah, it's always tough watching fighters that you like and respect, and they I don't want to say their legacy gets tarnished, but yeah, it's
I mean, it does because it's
yeah,
it's a real psychological thing that we are the last impression we have of someone has the more impact. So yeah, you can watch someone that you idolize. I don't want to use the word idolize, but someone that you really admire and stuff.
yes,
But that last impression, dude, it's like you eat a great pizza and then that last bite tastes absolutely disgusting. That's all you're going to remember. You won't remember
no?
there was a pizza. You're going to remember that last bite that left that shit taste in your mouth.
Exactly, 100%.
Which is cruel. It's cruel because someone like Anderson Silva, I mean, he's arguably the greatest middleweight in UFC history.
Yeah,
And when people talk about him now, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, bit
yeah,
clumsy, bit this, bit that. And it's like, no.
but
He,
that's also the casuals. But
yeah,
I was watching the sport when it wasn't like it was cool, but it didn't have the global footprint that it's got now. I mean, since COVID, the sport has blown up like mad. And that's the thing, like some people will never understand the levels that those oaks were at. Like often guys will say, this so and so guy is the greatest welterweight fighter of all time. Like a perfect example of that is I know I've spoken to you about this, is when Kamaru Usman was on that tear where he was just defending his belt one fight after another. And he was doing amazing. He was brilliant. I take nothing away from that man. He's a world-class fighter. He's brilliant. But then when you go and say that he's a better fighter than what George St. Pierre was, that just doesn't sit well with me. I can't say. Especially when it's guys that have just started watching the sport.
yeah.
It's very difficult to accept that. So, yeah. But now, going on that, my question for you is, if you could put any fighter from any era fighting against each other, whether it's whether it's current fighters or fighters that have retired, or even some of the fights that we never got to see, who would you pick?
Sure. Oh, dude, there's one I talk about and I've gone completely blank. You know what? Off the top of my head, brother, I wouldn't mind seeing Matthews at his prime and Kamaru at his prime.
Oh, that would have been a lucky one. That would have been good.
Yeah.
Obviously at welterweight at
Yes. Yeah.
170. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
170. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
for me, first one I can think of is yes, I was adamant they were going to make this fight, and that was George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva. Would
oh,
have loved to have seen those two at middleweight, just to clarify.
at middleweight, yeah.
Yeah, at middleweight. That would have been so special. Even Anderson Silva and John Jones, when Jones was still coming up, I think it was just before or should I say, it was just after he beat Shogun for the belt. I was like, oh, I'd love to see Anderson and him fight. That would have been an
Mm.
entertaining one.
It would have been
Yeah.
amazing. Would have been
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't remember the one I talk about. Like, I know it's probably I would have just liked to have seen the striking, because if John starts grappling him, it's done like in round one. As much as I love Izzy, it would be done. But
Your
for John and Izzy to have a kickboxing match, oh,
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I
That
would
would
have
have been cool to see.
flown to America to watch that.
I don't
Oh,
blame you.
Jesus.
That would be a fun fight, dude. It would be a fun fight.
Jesus. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen with this whole thing with Islam? Do you think Topuria is going to fight him, or do you think he's going to vacate his belt and then hope that Bilal loses his fight against Jack, and Islam will then go and challenge Jack for the not the lightweight, the welterweight belt, and then
Yeah.
Topuria. I wouldn't mind seeing Topuria and Oliveira go at it. I think
Oof.
that would be a great fight.
Fuck,
But then
what a
again,
fight.
that's another thing. I love both of them. I think I love Charles's story of where he came from as a featherweight, struggling,
Mm, mm.
getting some wins there and there, and then going to lightweight, and he completely just went on a tear.
Jeez, bro, absolutely bastards.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. This is what I hope doesn't happen, because then we'll always be stuck in a world of, oh, what if, what if. Islam can't move until he fights Ilya. If he moves up to fight Balal before that, bro, he knows he's going to get it from all of us. He's ducking, 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 ducking. I don't want that kind of situation. So, Ilya,
Yeah.
what's confusing, right, is because now the UFC said they're not doing double champ anymore. Completely fair enough, because it does hold up the division. So I get it.
Yeah.
Unless you Volk. I think Volk could handle both belts, but he's a freak of nature.
He is.
I get that you can't have both belts, and that's fine. But every other champion that has moved up got the title fight straight away. I feel like the UFC have to stick to that standard. So, because Ilya has moved up, he's vacated his title. Fair enough, he can't be two strapped. That's okay. He's got to get the fight with Islam, I
Yeah.
feel. And then give Sarukian and Oliveira the number one contender fight for the winners.
Oh, yeah. That'd be interesting.
Um,
Because
so
that
I'd love
first
to
one was
play out
very
like
close.
very close.
Yeah.
So I would say do it like that. International Fight Week, give us Ilya and Islam, give Sarukian and Charles the number one contender to then fight whoever wins the title.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? If Islam wins, he can move up to fight Balal. And then, then lightweight carries on, and then Islam can go, bro. Then we
But I
get
don't.
Islam, Brady, and Islam and Gary and Shavkat, and
Yeah.
it opens up welterweight quite a bit.
Yeah. The thing is I don't see those two fighting against each other, Bilal and Islam, because they're like very good friends, and I'd love to see that matchup.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we'd have to see.
We'll have to see,
Depends.
unless Balal moves up to middleweight. But oh, woof. Look,
Yeah.
I call him Mr. Potato Head. I don't like him. Blah 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 blah. But
He's gonna come and find you.
yeah,
Yeah, no, listen.
yeah.
I'm not
But
the fan. I'm not the biggest fan of yours, but either. But yeah, listen. He's got
GSP is a
him.
big fan of his, eh?
I know, but I was actually quite shocked. But I think he's trailing though. If you ask me, I think he's trailing her.
Yeah, because he called him what, the complete package, and I was like, relax.
I'm impressed by your performance. Plot twist.
Yeah. Dude, I
But
think if
yeah,
there's one complete package in the UFC right now, it's John and Ilya, probably, off the top of my head, where they are so well rounded at everything. It's disgusting.
I just want to
Mm,
see more of Ilya's kicking game. That's
yeah,
what I want to see.
no,
Go
that's
for
true.
more head kicks and stuff. That man's boxing is beautiful to watch. My word,
Oof,
his boxing and his wrestling is amazing. The way
that's,
he ragdolled Bryce Mitchell and even what
that's,
he did to Volk and Max Holloway was crazy. So yeah,
oh, first
yeah,
time Max has been flipping finished, bro.
yo,
No.
that was hard to watch. I won't lie, that was hard to watch.
Yo.
Um, speaking of hard to watch, last night's Champions League game, my word.
Oh,
Watching the highlights this morning. For context, I am a massive Arsenal fan. I love that team so much.
4 years. Like, you're
For
not the
years.
recent bandwagon people because you all
No.
need to relax. Please just stop jumping on the Arsenal bandwagon. They've had their fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stay in your lane.
Yo, after we spoke last night, literally checked on my phone, checked on the app, 1-0 PSG. I'm like, for fuck's sakes, I'm going to bed. And when I wake up this morning, I'm like, okay, before I open this up, I'm going to hope that the boys turned it around. I open up the app, 1-0 to PSG. I'm like, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
And then the rant starts. I watch the highlights. PSG should have won at least 3-0. Arsenal had their chances. Martinelli had a beautiful chance to score, but yeah, Donnarumma was possessed by the soul of Buffon, which was flipping amazing to watch. Yes, he was, the Ike was on form, eh? Jeez, he was on form. Um, so yeah, it is what it is. I hope my team can can do something, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna win it.
Yeah, look, it's technically first half, right? So first half, you're 1-0
It
down.
is the first half. It is the first half. You're
I
right.
think the
It is the first half.
only crappy thing now is you've got to go now win in France.
Yeah,
Um, I think
yeah.
if you lost 1-0 at France and then the second leg was in England, that would be better.
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, dude, you guys went to the Bernabeu and lit it up. Like, you didn't lose to Madrid in Spain, and they're very strong at home.
No, true, but it's not the Madrid. It's not the Madrid of the past couple of seasons.
Yeah,
They've been on a bit of a downward spiral this year.
yeah,
Um,
no, that's true.
and I think what's going on there is when how can I explain this? When Cristiano Ronaldo was there was a difference between him and Benzema. Now,
Mm.
what's going on with Madrid is, in my opinion, is with Vinny and Mbappe, you've got two amazing players, but one of them cannot be the the golden child. One of them cannot be Ronaldo. The other one has to be Benzema,
Mm.
and it's not going to happen. I can tell you that now. It's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, that's fact.
Um,
Facts. Like,
look,
one has to be Benzema, one has to be Ronaldo. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, and yeah, it's just I'll be very honest. I was one of the guys that was saying, and I know this sounds terrible, like always saying my team's not going to win, my team's not going to win. I've been an Arsenal fan for most of my life. I I I know what comes with that. Um, so I'm always prepared for disappointment most of the time. And in all seriousness, I did not believe that we were going to beat Madrid over two legs. I never thought so. Um, but yeah, I loved seeing us beat Madrid. I won't lie. That was very special. But these Oaks need to fucking win something, please. They need to win something. They have to win something.
Yeah.
Um, Look, I do think Barcelona are favourites for the trophy. They've had an unbelievable season. I hope Inter pull an upset tonight.
Oof, very good
But
game.
let's see. Yeah, it'll be interesting. What did you think of the PSG game, D?
Bro, you know what? It was quite competitive, but I do agree with you. PSG probably looked better last night, but Arsenal, they did have their chances. But like you said, Donnarumma
Yeah.
he was on fire. Yeah, I have a colleague, you know about her. She diehard Arsenal fan,
Mm.
and I mean she's got like Arsenal shirts like from the 70s and stuff, and she actually wore the 70s kit last night.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's
Yeah,
cool. We
and
love
she said,
that.
no, she said, it's basically what you have as well. PSG looked better, but Arsenal definitely had their chances. And then, yeah, brother, look, it's one half down, 1-0.
Yeah,
It's not, it's not the worst result.
it's
Uh,
not.
it just comes down to how strong you are mentally and how you can
Yes.
handle going into a game being 1-0 down, knowing like, okay, it's 1-0, we need to get one back, but also obviously not concede.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys have nothing to lose. You've just got to throw yourselves at them for 90 minutes. Don't be defensive. Go
Yes.
win.
Agreed.
Because you don't want to hold back and be 1-0 down at halftime because then I think the pressure starts setting in. So,
Correct.
yeah. And then, yeah, tonight, Barcelona Inter will be very competitive. And, yeah, I'm keen to see. I'm always more excited for the second leg. The first legs, it's always like you're watching first half of a match, right?
Correct.
So I will be more excited. Is the second leg next week or 2 weeks from now?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it is next week. I'll tell you now. 1 second.
Yeah, I'll definitely be way more excited come next week because I'm be like, okay, now we're talking. Now it's like we know the
Yeah.
aggregate
Yeah, it's
from the.
next week, bud. It is next
Okay,
week.
cool. Yeah, so next week I'll definitely be way more excited. Whereas tonight I probably won't watch, to be honest.
Okay. Well, Inter Milan are 1-0 up at the moment. It's 10
Uh,
minutes in.
10 minutes in. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. We.
Yeah.
Hectic.
Let's see.
All right. So let's see.
Yeah.
Might get a little crazy. But
Um,
good job, bro. We
yeah.
I think that's a wrap on episode 1 officially.
Episode 1 officially done.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think it was great, D.
Yeah. Loved it, brother. So
That was awesome.
I'm gonna wrap it up and then yeah, we upload on Mondays.
Yeah.
Spotify, YouTube, probably Apple Music as well.
Yes.
And
Like and
eventually,
subscribe, and we'd greatly appreciate it.
yeah. Until next time. Peace.
Next time. Cheers, guys.